There are 5 reasons why your customers, your prospects, or your suspects don't buy from you. 4 of the reasons are very simple, very straightforward. Let's go to the slide and I'll show you these. No want, no need, no hurry, no money. You've dealt with all of those. You deal with no want, no need, no hurry, no money every day. However, stressful selling is caused by the last one. The last one is no trust. If people don't trust you, no matter how good your brand is, no matter how good your service is, what happens is that your brand is up here with credibility and you haven't built trust and you're down here with credibility, a sale won't be made. No want, no need, no hurry, no money. No trust is the biggest one. In stress-free selling, what we want to do is always focus on the other person. Oftentimes, if the stress is high, if you'll go back and look at that situation, you'll see that the trust was low. When you have high trust, you have less stress. Well, the question becomes, how do you build that trust? What do you do on a day-to-day basis that builds integrity, that builds trust, that builds credibility in the workplace, on the marketplace, so that you are better than your competition? Well, there's a couple of ways to do that. As you can see on this slide, what we want to do as professional salespeople, we want to find out somebody's goals. Once we find out their goals, we can put them in a position to reach those goals. If we have a vehicle for the customer to reach his or her goals, we become a hero to that customer. This is my definition. This graphic here is my definition of selling. And the reason I say that is that our economic system in this country was built on providing products and services to meet people's needs. As a salesperson, if I can go out and uncover the needs, issues, concerns, the goals, the objectives of what they're trying to receive, and I can put them in a vehicle to receive those needs, issues, concerns, then I become a hero to that person. I can outsell the competition. Now let me say this also. As you see this graph, this circle with a vehicle toward it, this is relationships. My wife of 45 years told me many years ago, Flanagan, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to find someone who will. Well, that's her goal. She wants to be appreciated. She wants to be listened to. If I can provide the ears to help her do that, then I renew my contract every year for the last 45 years. Selling in its simplest form is nothing more than a communication process, and we complicate the process. Don't be afraid to ask people's goals. What are you trying to achieve with this purchase? Whether they come into your furniture store, whether you're selling them carpet, computers, or Cadillacs, ask them what they want to achieve. If this purchase were made today, what would you achieve? Mr. Prospect, I'm confident I can put you in a vehicle to reach that goal. Now you'll have a conversation where the trust goes up and the stress goes down. At the Ziglar Corporation, we often find that most people are trying to sell before they're trained to sell. Therefore, we offer all types of educational programs. We offer a program in the Houston area on August 20th, our Sell by Design, Not by Chance, one-day program. If you enter and get involved into this program, I promise you, we'll make you more dangerous than you are right now. We also go in-house. We will take a company that has a concern, that has a problem. Our salespeople will dive into that. What's causing the pain? What's happening? What are you trying to do to alleviate that pain? Here's a vehicle for you. And our in-house training is customized so that we use your real-world examples so that when you leave, you have applicable reasons to go sell somebody something. Let's talk about our objectives today. We've got a couple of objectives. Our topics today, if you will. Number one, we want to learn to initiate contact with prospects. When we're prospecting, we want to be able to initiate a compelling business reason for someone to call on us. Number two, we want to communicate the value of our product or service. People don't buy your product, they buy a product of your product. They buy the offshoot, they buy the benefit of your product. Implementing a client-centered approach to selling is so important. If you have a process, then you know where you are in the sales cycle, then you can proceed through the process to a satisfactory conclusion. Building a stronger person is something that Zig Ziglar does better than anyone, because he understands if you get the person right, If you get that person right, you'll get the professional right. As we go through this, if you've got questions, please chat in, log in those questions, and I'll be glad to take some questions toward the end of our presentation today. Let's talk about prospecting. As it says on the slide there, pressure selling is caused by a lack of prospects. Pressure selling is caused by a lack of prospects. If it's the last day of the month, I don't want to be on your prospecting list because you're going to hammer me. Number two, you're not always selling, but you are always prospecting. That's something we do on a day-to-day basis as sales professionals. And here's the biggie. You must learn to communicate a compelling business reason for somebody to buy from you, from somebody to meet with you, for a reason for somebody to return your phone calls or return your emails. The key to all of this, and the bottom line as it says there, lead with need. If you are a lead with need salesperson, then the less stress is out of that relationship because the customer understands that it's his need, that it's her need that you're trying to solve. If it's about your need, you're going to give that away. It's going to show. It's going to be obvious to that buyer. Be aware that it's not about you. It's about the other person. In our presentation skills class, one of the things we teach is this, that you need to give yourself permission to be less than perfect, never less than professional. Professionals understand they'll never make a perfect sales call. Professionals also understand it's not about them, it's about the other person. This is so true when we pick up the phone and call somebody. Because oftentimes when we're initiating contact into a new prospect, we have a tendency to over-explain us and under-explain what we do for that customer. It's easy to do. I can pick up the phone and say, hey, this is Bryan Flanagan with the Ziglar Corporation in Dallas, Texas. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Training. We do sales training. When can we come see you? There's no compelling reason for someone to meet with me when I do that. Therefore, there's got to be a formula, a methodology, if you will, to give your name and who you're with, but give the benefit before you give the purpose. Let me explain that. Oftentimes, we're picking up the phone and say, Bert, Bryan Flanagan, I'd like to have the opportunity to sit down with you. And so far, I've led with me what I wanted to do. If you're going to make an effective prospecting call, whether it be voicemail, voice-to-voice, drop-bys where you do face-to-face, or in emails, you must put the benefit first so that Bert will listen to you when you give your purpose. There's a formula to do that. In our courses, in this particular course on August 20th in Sell by Design, maybe coming to a city near you soon, in this workbook, we drill down on that. We make sure that you leave with a couple of statements that you can use that are impactful when you're going out and selling your services, selling your products. Let me give you an example of this. Let's go to the next slide. What we want to do, it's a four-step process. We want to implement a four-step process. Number one, introduce yourself. Number two, state in a short period of time, state a benefit or a problem that you solve so that when you get to the benefit, you'll have identified a problem within that person's company or industry. Then you communicate a compelling value, advantage, or benefit. Then you state your purpose. Understand what we're saying here. You've got to tell the customer why you're calling. The prospect needs to know why you're calling. But if you want to eliminate a little bit of stress, lead with the customer's benefit, not what you're trying to do. If you want to separate professional selling from professional visiting, learn to lead with need. Lead with the other person's benefit. So what are some benefits? What is a problem you solve? What is a benefit that you bring? And then what is your purpose? I was working with a real estate company, and this person is in commercial real estate. She is selling her services to vice presidents of real estate to large national and sometimes international companies. She gets a hold of the vice president of real estate, the person who's responsible for that. Now, in some cases, it may be the CFO, but she knows her target market. And here's what she uses, and I thought this was brilliant. She uses this. Mr. Prospect, I'm so-and-so with such and such. We help solve business problems caused by real estate issues. If you're responsible for 50 states in the real estate area of your firm, and somebody calls you and says, we help you solve business problems that you're getting pounded on by your upper management, caused by your area of responsibility, I think you'll get that person's attention. So let's try this. Let's drill down a little bit. Here's an example. I'm going to read this. This is an example. Please understand it may not fit for your industry. You've got to wordsmith this. Hi, this is Nancy with Acme Outdoor Ads. We specialize in solving business problems caused by marketing challenges. We recently assisted this company in promoting their company and driving traffic into their store. The purpose of my call is to schedule a time to explore how you can benefit from these services. It touches all of the sentences. You introduce yourself. You talk about a problem you solve. You give a benefit and you give a third-party reference with ABC Company. Then you state your purpose. Do you understand that if you're on the phone and you're receiving a call at home and all the person wants to talk about is what they do and not the benefit to you, you want to get off the phone as quickly as you can. If you receive an email like that and all they're talking about is themselves and not about you, you're not likely to respond to that email. This is not easy. This is why in our classes we drill for skill. What we're trying to do is drill down on each of the individual skills we talk about so that you learn in class and you're not penalized in cash. One of Zig Ziglar's favorite quotes is, learn by doing. Most people learn by doing. The skill to do comes from the doing. Therefore, if we give you a skill, we're going to drill down on that skill so that you're not penalized in the real world. Nobody penalizes you in class. That's what we call practicing for technique, not for results. In the classes, we want you to practice doing it, having turn and learns, turn to your neighbor, learn from each other, so that you're better prepared when you get into the real world, you're not penalized. Don't be afraid to come up with very specific ideas on the problems that you solve. Let me give you a couple of examples of this. Let's go back to the slides here. Initiating a contact with a person you've not talked to before. We help solve business problems caused by blank. Whatever your service is. Is it marketing challenges? Is it healthcare costs? We help solve business problems caused by rising healthcare costs. We help you solve business challenges brought on by lower priced competitors. We provide a vehicle for you to reach your revenue goals. As you can see, I've wordsmithed that. It's not always we help solve business problems caused. You can wordsmith it and manipulate it a little bit. All right, I'm going to go out on a limb on this one, and Jill, who's kind of monitoring this for us, she's our moderator today. Jill, you're going to breathe heavy on this one. Folks, if in fact you want to write a couple of these general benefit strategies, these initial statements, stating your name, solving a problem, giving a benefit, stating your purpose, if you want to write those and email those to me, I'll volunteer to look at them and wordsmith them for you. I'll return all my emails. It's in 3 months. No, I'm teasing. I'll return all my emails quickly, but let me give you my email address. It's bflanagan@ziglar.com. BFLANAGAN @Ziglar, ZIGLAR.com. I believe that this is one of the hardest things we do in sales, is to initiate that contact. But I promise you, if you've got confidence in this initial statement that you're making, these 4 sentences, if you have confidence in that, you have less stress, and you're going to pick up the phone more often and make more dials. You're going to initiate contacts with people faster, quicker, better, with more confidence, competency, yes, and comfort. If I can help, give me a shot. bflanagan@ziglar.com. Let's talk about another topic here. One of the topics that we know about is product. Everybody knows their product. You can learn your product without ever having to learn about a customer. You know your product when you go out and visit a customer. However, what we get conditioned to do, we actually get conditioned to lead with our product and talk about our comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the same as mine. My product, I know my product. What I don't know is the other person. Let me prove this to you. Now, I want you to free up your hands. We've had injuries in this exercise. So free up your hands just for a moment. Everybody give me the OK sign right about here. This is the sign in America for the OK sign right here. Watch me carefully. Move your hand down here to your chin. Okay, I saw 3 guys in Wyoming put their on their chin and not their cheek. Understand that we get conditioned. When I said put your hand on your chin, well, you saw the cheek, but I meant the chin. What does that mean to salespeople? We go out and make calls. We go out and make calls, and we do the same thing all the time, and it's not always correct. Again, that's what I mean when I say that people have a tendency to try to sell before they're trained to sell. I had to learn to be a salesperson. Selling's not easy. Think about this. If selling were easy, sales managers would still be doing it. I was raised the same way you were. I was raised not to be a salesperson. Think about this. My generation, how my mother raised me, wherever you are, what generational aspect you're in, your mom raised you the same way. Here's what our mothers told us. Don't talk to strangers. Don't ask people for money. So I go into sales. You've got to learn your profession. That's why we're big believers at the Ziglar Corporation on skill, will, and refill. Whether it be a book, whether it be a CD, whether it be a DVD, we've got to invest in ourselves. And I thank goodness that you do. You've done that today, and I salute you for investing in yourself because you're going to leave better off when you came in. Anytime you're talking about sales, you're going to glean a new element of selling. You're going to learn a new concept, a new aspect. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. You never graduate from selling. As we go into understanding our product, we want to communicate the values, advantages, and benefits of those products. We don't want to talk about the product and the features only. We want to talk about the value, advantages, and benefits. Here you see the 3 definitions: a feature, a function, and a benefit. A feature is a trait, a detail, a characteristic of your product. The function is the act it performs, and the true benefit is the advantage to the user and using that particular feature. Let me give you an example of this. Now again, we're going to compress this. If you would come to the class, what we're going to ask you to do is bring a product or 2, features of that product or 2. You're going to list the features, the functions of those features, and then the true benefit. So I'm selling to 3 people today. The people over here want to save money. The people here want to save time. And the people over here want to look good. We can't help them. No, we can't. If I'm selling one product to 3 different people, but they want 3 different things, how do I do that? Go back to the feature, function, benefit formula. You can use one feature for 3 different benefits. It may have the same function, but it gives each of these sets of people 3 different values. Let me give you an example of this. Take a very simple example. Let's go straight forward with this. I'm selling writing instruments. These people want to save money. Mr. Prospect, you're going to like our writing instrument. It has a clip. It holds it firmly to your shirt pocket. The benefit is, now some of you are saying the benefit is you won't lose it. This guy didn't say he wanted a pen he wouldn't lose. He said he wanted what? To save money. Don't confuse a benefit with a function. Let me do it again. You're going to like this writing instrument. It has a clip. The function of the clip, it holds it firmly to your shirt pocket. Therefore, you don't lose it. The advantage, the value, the benefit to you is you save money because you don't lose your pen as often. If he wants to save money, why are you telling him that it's color coordinated? He doesn't want a color coordinated pen. He wants to save money. Mr. Prospect, you said earlier that you wanted to save time. One of the great values of our instrument is that this pen, this clip, holds it firmly to your shirt pocket so you always know where the pen is. It saves you time. You don't have to look for it. It saves hassles. It's productive because you know where it is. You wanted to save, you want to look good in the business world. This gold enamel, spring-loaded gold enamel clip gives you the impression when you take out your pen and sign contracts, sales contracts in the business world, it's going to create the impression that you want to create. It'll give you the appearance in the business world that you're after. Don't be afraid to drill down. If you're selling features only, you're going to get into a price competition. They have it, we have it, we have it, they have it. They're cylindrical, we're cylindrical. They're color coordinated, we're color coordinated. What you've done, you've taken your product and reduced it to a commodity. You as a consumer, when you make commodity decisions, what do you make decisions on? Price. So do I. If you're saying this is the same and this is the same, and some of you are saying, well, Bryan, I sell furniture. I sell cars. They come from the same place. Then you can always be low bid. Why would they buy from you? Here's a question. Have you ever won a deal where you've been high bid? Have you ever lost a deal where you've been lower priced? Then somewhere in between is where their value is. So it's not always price. If I'm selling a commodity, how I deliver that commodity separates me from the competition. You've got to find out what those separators are. We help you do that. Whether it be in-house training where we customize or whether we do it in a group setting with an open enrollment seminar, we help you customize that so when you get in front of that customer, you'll be more effective. Let's talk about the next segment here is what we call process. Now, there's so many things I can say about the process. I'm a big believer in process. Selling is a process. It's not a personality. Selling is a process. It's not a personality. Selling is a process. It's not an event. In its simplest form, selling is nothing more than a communication process. Now, here's the biggie, that last line, those two lines down there. You make more money solving problems than you do selling products and services. Edwin was in one of our open enrollments last month here in the Zig Ziglar office, right over there. And Edwards was in the insurance business for a long time. He says he's never sold an insurance policy. He made a lot of money in the insurance business. He was very successful in the insurance business. But he said in all the years he was in the insurance industry, he never sold a policy. He sold peace of mind. He sold a vehicle to their goals. Now, he said it differently, but the same thing we talked about earlier, that circle with that arrow going up, a vehicle to people's goals. That's what you and I do. We solve problems through our products and services. It's not solving product and service problems. It's solving buyers' problems. There's a couple other things. Let's look on the next slide. I believe that process gives you the confidence to use your personality. I believe that confidence is derived from knowing where you are on a sales call, where the customer is on the sales call, and within that process, I can then insert my personality. I also believe that whoever has the most information has the most influence. And the biggie down there, process takes pressure off the person. Here is the process. Now, we don't have time to go into every stage of the process, but understand that if you know where you are in the process, you know where the customer is in the process, then you have a chance to move successfully through that process. But let me warn you, the customer drives the speed of the process. You lay the process out, and the customer drives the speed of the process. If you're moving too quickly through the process, the customer's going to say you're one of those pushy salespeople. If you're moving too slowly through the process, the customer's looking over his shoulder and saying you're not very good at this. He wants to move faster. You've got to give a person a reason to slow down or speed up once you're in the process. Within each of these 7 steps of the process, there are a lot of skills. We teach something called POGO. POGO allows you to profile your prospect, as opposed to going in like I used to do and sitting in somebody's office and looking around and seeing a golf trophy and seeing a fish on the wall with a little plaque. And I would do things like, hey, Bert, fish trophy. Did you catch the fish? No, it came with the office. Let's see. Oh, Bert, you got a golf trophy. You shoot golf? What do you shoot? 12 gauge, 20 gauge? I know nothing about fishing. I know less about golf. Therefore, what you and I have to do is have a systemized approach to selling. It's called sell by design, not by chance. Within the process, there's another process called POGO. Person, organization, goals, obstacles to those goals. If you sit through one of our training sessions, you'll see that all of these skills tie together. From the time we went with that graphic with the circle with goals in it and the arrow saying we've got a vehicle to reach your goals, in the process, we ask questions about the person, the organization, the goals, and the obstacles to those goals. Because if I can help you reach your goals, I become a hero to you. If I can help take away a barrier, an obstacle to your goals, I become a hero to you. We need to drill down on those skills. There are very certain specific questioning skills that we teach that allow you to understand that. process is so important. Let's talk about the last topic here. The last topic, tying it all together, the person. You are the heart of the sales career. I'm a big believer that if you get the person right, you get the professional right. Zig Ziglar's material, his philosophy, is so good in this respect. And I'll give you a personal story on this. I was struggling as a salesperson. One of my buddies said, Flanagan, go out and buy this book. So for $12.95, I went out and bought a book by a guy named Zig Ziglar entitled See You at the Top. I wasn't a bookworm at the time. I wasn't a tapeworm at the time. I wasn't listening. Those days we had, to you young people, before CDs, there was something called cassette tapes. So I wasn't listening to tapes and I wasn't reading books. Begrudgingly, I bought this book. I was into my 8th year as a salesperson. I get to page 48, as you can see on the slide here. This is what Zig said. You cannot consistently perform in a manner that's inconsistent with the way you see yourself. Zig had taken that quote from Dr. Joyce Brothers. He put it in his book. Folks, you cannot consistently perform in a manner that is inconsistent with the way you see yourself. Until I read that, I was missing sales success by a distance of 12 inches. That's right, a distance of 12 inches. And that's the distance from my head to my heart. I was with the IBM Corporation at the time, and IBM had spent over $50,000 training me to be a professional salesperson. I buy a book by a man named Zig Ziglar for $12.95, and it turned my life around, my professional life, my family life, my personal life. And the reason I say that, as an IBMer, I wasn't making my quota every year. I was struggling. And what Zig Ziglar said, Bryan, increase your deserve level. I'm going to give you some steps, Bryan, that allow you to increase your deserve level. Intellectually, I understood sales, but I never felt successful as a salesperson. And what Zig Ziglar's material did for me was allow me to move that last 12-inch journey, and everything changed. Let me tell you what changed. I began to invest in myself. You're doing that today, and I salute you for investing in yourself, taking the time today, or if you're watching it later on, but in this live broadcast today, you're investing in yourself, and you've got to celebrate that. That's a victory list. You need to keep that on your victory list. You've got to learn your profession. Number 2, you got to respect your profession. That helped me so much to understand that selling is a helping profession. Selling is something you do with the person, not to the person. In every course that we teach, in every product that we have at the Ziglar Corporation, we're always trying to give you a plan to reach the promise we also give you. But we'll never give you that promise without a plan, because you need the skills, you need the techniques, you need the aptitude, you need the attitude to reach your altitude. That's not bad. Your attitude and your altitude all work together. We want to prepare you with the skill and the will and the refill. If you've got questions about this, I want you to take a look at Michael and Margaret. Please contact Michael and Margaret. Michael's on the left, Margaret's on the right. You may be able to figure that out. But these are your performance consultants that will help you find the best solution to your needs. If you will call them, and we'll leave this on the screen for a couple of minutes here, because if you'll call these guys, if you'll talk to them, you'll find out that we have something that may impact, a big part of your life may impact your sales, your professionalism. Take those numbers down. I'm going to ask Jill if she has any questions coming here. Let's see if Jill has anything for me. Okay, here's a question here. Go back over POGO. All right, thank you. POGO is a way to profile your customer so that you ask questions about the person, the organization, the goals, and the obstacles. You may want to modify that. It may be FORM. Tell me about your family, your occupation, the reason you came in there, what kind of money you're willing to spend. I don't know. It depends on your industry. I like POGO because, number one, it allows me to focus on the other person. It's not about Bryan. It's about the other person. Learn to take the attention off yourself and focus it where it belongs, on the other person. POGO allows you to do that. It reduces stress. Number 2 reason I like POGO, it's flexible. It's not a linear process. You don't have to say POGO. If you know the person is an analytical, or someone said, Patty, you said earlier in the chat room that you consider yourself more of an introvert. Patty, if I know that about you, I'm not going to start with the P. I may start with the occupation or your organization, the first O. Then move to goals. Once I feel that I've earned the right, maybe I can ask you, how long have you been at this job? What attracted you to this job? What were you doing before? Your outside interests, hobbies, what have you. It's flexible. So if you're talking to a guy like me who's extroverted, who's an expressive type person, then you can start with the P, and I'm very comfortable. You don't have stress with me when you ask me questions about myself. Other people, you may create stress by asking them questions about themselves first. So one of the things I like about Pogo, it's flexible. Another question down here. Oh, that's good. I hate selling, but I love helping. Is there a place for a guy? Oh, there's a place for you in this world. I'm sorry, let me see that. I don't have your name. But there's a place for you. Let me tell you why. People are seeking help. And if you've got your helping hat on, you're going to be successful. Now, here's the other side of that. You do not have to be somebody you aren't to be successful at selling. Introverts oftentimes have more attention focused on the other person. An expressive like myself walks into a room full of people and says, here I am, how am I doing? Good to see me. I'll walk into a room and say, here I am. You walk into the room and say, there you are. I want the there you are person working with me. Now let me tell you the linchpin here. I had to learn to do that. I had to learn to stop talking and start listening. Introverts are very good at listening. Some salespeople, not so much. So yes, there's certainly a place for you here. Tough question. What % of your income do you invest in training? Enough to make a difference. I don't know that would be. I heard it last night, we were talking last night late, and the lady said, I think you ought to invest 10 to 15% in training your people. I'm hoping she meant that about herself as well. But the point is that she gave her percentage, maybe 10 to 15% of your revenue should go back to building your employees. So that may be a good rule of thumb. But the point I'm trying to make is you can invest in yourself with not a lot of money. This is free. Ziglar has CDs, has DVDs. We have August 20th in Houston, Texas, Weston Oaks Galleria. We have an open enrollment seminar. You have the opportunity to invest enough to make a difference. I don't know that percentage though. How does this process work in business to customer selling situations? I'm assuming that means I'm a business to business salesperson. Other people may be selling to consumers or directly to the customer. There's no difference. In a retail establishment, people come in and say, look, I wear a 46 long, wear all day. That stimulus response is kind of retail sales. The professional retail people slow that process down and ask a couple of questions. How do you want to look in that suit? What do you wear the suit to? What kind of environment are you in? Oh, they're the 46 longs. But they slow them down before they say where the 46 longs are. So retail, it works. But in relationship selling can transcend into direct sales, whether you're selling to a consumer. If it's a product that they're trying to buy, why is this important to you? Why is this purchase important to you? Let me slow down and ask a couple of questions. So the process works. You're only as good as your information. Whoever has the most information has the most influence. You need information to be able to say, this is what you need, as opposed to this is what you need. If you don't know why the person buys or why they didn't buy, then you won't be able to sell them again. You won't be able to go back and capture their business. So you've got to find out why a man is thirsty. If this is what they're looking for, what drives his or her thirst? And do they drink this or do they drink hot tea? Do they drink sodas or diet sodas? You need to ask those questions. Just because somebody's thirsty does not mean you know he has a need. What's the symptom? What's the cause? And see if you can put those together within your product range. Next question. Objections. Folks, in this time frame, I'm sorry, we don't have a chance to manage those objections. that there's a formula we use. In fact, in the book here, I've got a whole chapter. I just finished my first book. I liked it so much I'm going to read another one. No, I just finished writing my first book. There's a whole chapter on managing objections. The key to managing objections, understand and identify. Make sure you know what you're overcoming. Don't chase a rabbit that's not real. If the customer throws something out that's true, that's valid, that's genuine, go for it. Try to overcome it. Try to manage it. But if they're throwing smoke at you, you got to identify and understand what they mean. The way to do that, ask a question. That's what we teach. Ask questions. All right, let me wrap this up with a couple of things, folks. Thank you so much. If you want to stay on and chat, do so. I'll go in the other room. Again, we're going to put Michael and Margaret Bird, if you would put Michael and Margaret's photos up there to learn how you can invest in your success. And we hope it's more than 10%, but we also hope you're investing in yourself. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. In closing, we have open enrollment seminars. Michael and Margaret can help you with that. We have in-house seminars. We can come in-house into your corporation, into your company, analyze your needs, find out what you're struggling with, and then put you in a vehicle to reach those goals. We are big believers. We're confident that the Ziglar philosophy can impact your people. We just need a chance to transfer that confidence to you. Let us know how to do that. In closing, 2 things are going to cause success for the rest of the year. Number 1, work ethic. You've got to have a work ethic. Big baseball fan. My dad was a big baseball fan. He taught me a valuable lesson. He said, son, you play all 9 innings. You work all day. You play all 9 innings. Develop a work ethic. You take an inning or 2 off, you got to play catch up. At the end of the game, son, you go home, and when you have a family, you take care of your family. The game will be there tomorrow. Develop a work ethic. Secondly, develop self-confidence. Oftentimes, self-confidence comes with self-competency. Develop your skill so when you go out there, you don't have to rely on your personality. You can rely on the skills within a process. We look forward to working with you. Good luck. Good selling.